All right. Hey, Vikings fans. Welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And the beer we had tonight from Confluence, it was pretty good, but it was a little nutty.
Yeah, I would agree. It was good, for sure. We also looked at one version of the Vikings' projected 53-man roster for the upcoming season.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see how things shape up between now and August when the games start playing.
Yeah, and lastly, we took a look at a Vikings territory article. Dustin Baker, friend of the show, put out a list of 4 players that could be on the verge of a breakout. We maybe agreed and or disagreed with some of his thoughts in that article. It
was a lot of good talkers, a lot of fun. But if that all sounds interesting, go ahead and grab a cold one and join us for episode 140 of the Skol Hop.
Skol. All right, we're going to give just a quick shout out to our friends at That's Badass Wood Art. They made this awesome piece right behind us. It's kind of become the featured piece of our little Skol-mand Center here. And you can have your very own piece of wood art made by them. It can be custom like this one, or if you go to their website, that's badasswoodart.com, you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that they've made. And if you use our promo code SKOLHOP, SKOLHOP, all one word, type that in, you'll get 10% off any and all orders. So we would strongly recommend checking them out.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Ev. We have a little interesting beer here.
I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued.
I did pick it up tonight at our favorite Devil's Glen Hy-Vee. And our regular listener, who I always talk to, wasn't working tonight. It was another guy that I talked to, but a different guy. But anyways, we have a beer from Confluence Brewing Company out of Des Moines. We visited there the Brew Hop 1.0 2024, I believe.
Yep.
And it's a good one. I've been there a couple of times. I like their beers. This one I've never had before, though. It's called Little Green Men.
I think it's fairly new because I haven't seen this one when I've been shopping.
And it's Little Green Men, a pistachio cream ale. There's kind of a paragraph. You think I should read it? Or just?
It's kind of like a little like a narrative almost. You can read it if you want.
Let's go. So
you read, I'm going to pour. I want to see what this looks like in the glass.
This says, we interrupt your regularly scheduled program. Reports are flooding in of an unusual landing. Witnesses describe small green figures shaped like sentient pistachio nuts descending upon our world. Their intent is unknown, but reports all agree they come bearing gifts. Citizens are urged to remain calm and imbibe responsibly. This pistachio cream ale they bring is light in body, yet carries a surprisingly creamy sweetness and gentle nuttiness that many describe as out of this world. Authorities confirm that resistance is futile, but submission is delightfully delicious.
You forgot the last part.
Oh, we return you now to your regularly scheduled broadcast, and if you're lucky, with Little Green Men by your side.
Well, back to our broadcast here.
Whoever wrote that, that's fun. I like when there's any kind of a description, but that was a little creative. It was nice.
Well, you thought that it was going to be green when we poured it. It is not green. It's just a nice golden beer, and it's got a good little foamy head on it, and I can smell the pistachios.
Okay. Are you a fan of pistachio?
I love pistachios. Okay. Yeah, they're good. And I don't have a nut allergy, so that's a good thing, too.
I probably should have asked. If you had a nut allergy, we've been friends long enough, I would have known.
I wonder, and maybe there's a viewer out there, like, if you have a nut allergy, can you drink a beer that has nut flavor in it? Like,
good question. I would tell you to ask Gemini, but I don't trust whatever they say yet.
I'll trust somebody with real world experience, not an AI bot out there.
I'm going to say about the color of this beer, I thought it'd be green too, but it's actually really clear.
It's golden brown and
it reminds me a lot of the beer we had last week, the rice
lager,
from
Adventurous.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna try to say what it was. It starts with a B, but yeah, the color of this looks nice, refreshing. It's a 6.5% beer.
Packs a little punch.
Yeah, and as you can tell, I've got about 3 inches of foam here to work with, but we'll get it done. So, Skol.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's nice. The pistachio flavor is definitely there. And definitely the after flavor really heightens that up too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like it's pretty prevalent flavor, but it's not bad. It doesn't...
Yeah. And so this kind of reminds me of it was a single speed beer, and I think they still make it. It's called the Tricycle.
Mm-hmm.
It's their cream ale.
Okay.
And I love that beer. And when we lived up there, I don't think they sell that here. I think they've got other single speed beers in cans, but they sold it in cans up in the Waterloo area, and I would get that quite often at the store. It was really, really good. One of my favorites. And this reminds me of that, so I like it. It's good stuff. Nicely done, Confluence.
Yeah, and I feel like it just... the taste doesn't match the color. Like I would not think that it would taste like this just by looking at this beer. Yeah. But it's really good. I like it a lot. I'm glad we got it and tried it. Only like 1% disappointed it's not green.
Well, we're Vikings fans, so
we can't celebrate the color green.
We can't have too much green in this area. This needs to be purple.
Yeah. So. Well, good job, Confluence. I'm excited to give my full opinions here later.
Yeah. So I went shopping the other day, and I found a little something that I'd like to have you unwrap.
Okay. All right.
And
I'm a little scared here.
There's not much. You don't have to be scared. It's all good. And I didn't pay a super ridiculous amount of money for it. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I left the sticker on it. So you'll see how much I paid for it, which doesn't matter.
All right.
But this it's kind of a cool little piece, and I kind of want to know if you can identify what episode we may have had what you're about to unwrap.
All right.
It was pretty early on in the Skol Hop history.
Okay. This is the 140th episode.
This goes back a while.
What is this? Oh, wow. Okay.
Isn't that cool?
It's a tap. It is from Reunion Brewery, and it's a tap of their Amber Ale, which, Evan, you're definitely the Amber guy. And This is a really good beer, too.
We've had that beer on the podcast.
Man.
And I found it when I was shopping this weekend, and I'm like, I'm going to get that. I'm going to pick that up. That's cool.
That is really cool. You did leave the sticker on, and you didn't... It's nothing to be
There were some other ones
about.
there that were real pricey.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure... Like the first episode, we had 2 different beers, and one was like Pseudo Sue.
I think you're right. Yep.
So I don't think it was episode 1.
It was not 1.
Man, this is one that we may have tried, because we also visited Reunion Brewery on the Brew Hop 1.0. Was it the Brew Hop episode?
Nope.
All right. Me trying to figure it out anymore would just take a lot of time. So which episode?
It was episode 2.
No, okay.
Actually, technically episode 3, because we have one that was unreleased, and that was the 2, and that was a single speed. That was a Gable and a Victory Dance. And then episode 1 that was released was the West Eddy from Big Grove. This was on episode 2, 3rd total episode, but 2nd released episode. So I know we didn't have it on the tap, but there's this little shop in LeClaire, and they had just like a big shelf with a bunch of different compartments, and they were all beer taps. And I'm like, I'm gonna try to find one that we've had before, and I found this one, and I'm like, we've had that one before.
Were there others that we've had before?
Not that I could find.
Okay.
But there were like your typical like Budweiser and Miller Lite and Coors Light, and like just your typical domestics and your pretty popular ones. There are also some pretty ornate ones, like I don't know if you've ever heard of like Old Latrobe. That's like, I'm pretty sure that's a St. Louis area thing.
Is it?
We were talking about St. Louis a little bit ago. and some other ones. Some of them are made out of acrylic.
Yeah.
This one's wood or like fake wood.
Native
I don't know.
wood.
And there's nothing super fancy about this one.
No, it's cool though.
Pretty just, straightforward beer tap. But no, I saw it and I was like, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Because we've had it and it was episode 2.
And it's got some cool character to it. It's been used, you can tell, and I think that's cool. Like,
it's a little chipped and a little
this
rugged.
Was somewhere. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, it may not have been in the Reunion Brewery, but it was at an establishment at one point and was used to pour hundreds of beers. That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool and probably, like, not a good idea to have all... Because what are we at different beers wise? We're more than 140 individual beers.
Yeah, way over 100.
We've doubled up sometimes on a beer we'll have on multiple different episodes, but we've definitely had episodes where we've each had a different beer. The brew hop episodes alone each have 10 plus beers that we've had on their episodes. But it would be cool to have like the taps of all of the beers.
That would be cool. I don't know that that'll ever be a reality.
No.
It would be super hard to track them all down.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's a whole like culture of beer drinkers that people collect their favorite beer taps.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's probably something. I have a little bit of an addictive personality. It's one that if I started collecting a couple of these taps, they would just overtake my house, and I would have hundreds and hundreds of taps. So I should probably know that about myself and keep from doing that. But they are pretty cool.
Well, we have one for now, and we can find a spot here on the set somewhere and make it a part of our little show here.
Absolutely. So. And maybe, if we happen upon other ones in the future of like, oh, yeah, we've loved this beer on the show, we can pick it up. But.
Yeah, and I figured too, like we have a lot of Vikings stuff here, and obviously we talk about the Vikings, but we don't have a lot of beer stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, we need some more beer stuff in this place.
Yeah.
So
well, that's pretty cool, Ev. Thank you for getting that for the set, and that's a fun talker there.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to find it. We'll keep it up here for today. We'll try not to knock it over.
I'm probably gonna knock it over by accident, but oh well. Evan, you mentioned a little bit ago, we are a Vikings podcast.
We are.
And we have successfully not talked about the Vikings for, 15 minutes here? I think it's time. We got to dive in. It's a very quiet time of year. I'm sure some of our least consumed episodes have been in the May through July time frame of this time that we've been doing the podcast. But there's always stuff to talk about. And I had an idea. At this moment, May 25th, 2026, I wonder how many starting positions, are already locked up for the Vikings. As of, we could fast forward to week 1, and we know this person is starting this position, barring injury, through the offseason or anything. We just know the starter here. And I thought it'd be a fun thing for us to talk about and maybe give differing opinions on who those guys may be, what those positions may look like.
Yeah. And I think maybe to start having that conversation, it might be helpful to, and we could probably throw this up here on the screen, just think through who some of the projected starters will be. As we kind of warm up to that conversation. So we'll put up, this is from @SeanBorman NFL. He tweeted this out, I think, like before last week's episode. And
he tweeted this out a while ago, actually. April 26th.
April 26th. Okay, so this was like a month ago, after the draft.
Right after the draft. I think this is more of a reaction to the draft.
Yep. And honestly, there are some things I disagree with it, and we don't necessarily need to like go in depth on it, but maybe we can just like fly through all the positions, list them out, and then we can just talk about what you just posed to me, like which groups are kind of set and we know for sure, and where might some pieces come in and out, based on what happens in OTAs, training camp, preseason, that sort of thing.
A few housekeeping things about this tweet and this graphic specifically. I think it's still a good one, even a month being a month old. It's still something to throw up and be able to look at while we're talking about this. But a couple of things that we should mention. He kind of tweeted 2 versions of this out back to back. This version that we're looking at here, he specifically says, if Harrison Smith returns, which is still something that could happen. He's technically not on the Vikings right now. He was a post-June 1 release, and hasn't publicly said anything about whether he's retiring or coming back. Actually, Harrison Smith has said before, when I do retire, like, I'm not going to make a big deal about it. We're not going to tell everybody, so we don't know. But he still could come back. So this graphic is assuming Harrison Smith returns, and it has not taken into account the Jawan Jennings signing. And I think those are the 2 big things that this graphic either didn't know at the time or is just making an assumption about something. So we can take that piece of knowledge into account as we keep going forward.
So I'll just run through the players quick. We'll start on offense, then we'll move to defense. We'll start with the line, and then we'll go to the skill players.
But specifically, we can read off this graphic, but I also want to hear from Evan, your opinion. I don't agree with this. Or
I like context, and so if I were listening, I'd want to know, like, what are the names that they're working with here. We won't take too long with this. Offensive line, from left to right, Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Blake Brandell, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill. And then there's Borman is saying Kyler Murray at quarterback, Aaron Jones at running back, Jefferson, Addison at receiver, Ty Felton at slot, which, again, you just mentioned this was before Jawan Jennings was signed.
Yeah, I think if Sean were re-putting this same graphic out, that would be the only change.
Yep. And then TJ at tight end. And then on the defensive side of the ball, defensive line, Dallas Turner, Caleb Banks, the big citrus, Dominic Orange, Jalen Redmond, Andrew Van Ginkel. You've got Isaiah Rodgers and Byron Murphy out on the corners. You've got Eric Wilson, Blake Cashman as linebackers, Harrison Smith as a safety, which we already mentioned, and then he has Josh Metellus listed as a DB, which I think means he's that utility knife. He can slide back and play safety. He can jump up and play like a middle linebacker. He can play an outside linebacker. He can play corner. He can whatever he needs, right? Whatever the defense needs. So those are the names. Those are the 22 guys that Borman has said are the projected starters. I think first and foremost, obviously, Ty Felton comes out. Jawan Jennings is easily the slot or the wide receiver 3 or whatever you want to call that. You've got easy number 1 in Justin Jefferson, easy number 2 in Jordan Addison. And you and I talked a couple weeks ago about Jawan Jennings, and we compared him to some of the other historical Vikings wide receivers 3 in this era, and there was just no comparison. He stood out amongst those other guys. So I don't think it's going to even really be a competition. I think Ty Felton might be a returner still, and Jawan Jennings is that number 3 guy. And then what else? I think the quarterback position is definitely, obviously, still up in the air.
And we'll be talking about that until we're not talking about the Vikings anymore.
Right.
You could probably track the single most talked about position between us, and it's got to be quarterback since we started this podcast.
Yes. And Borman says Kyler Murray is the projected starter, and I would have to say I agree with him. I think I lean that way. I think Kyler Murray has proven starter abilities. He brings another layer to the offense in his ability to run, whereas JJ can do that too, and he's created a little bit with his feet as a Viking, and he did a lot of that in Michigan. We just haven't seen a ton of it yet, and it's, I don't know. All that to say, I like Kyler Murray. I think he's the day 1 starter. I think he's the week 1 starter. And then who knows? I mean, the NFL season is such a long grind that we could see 2 or 3 quarterbacks starting for the Vikings over the course of the season like we did last year. So,
but we could, but I do want to kind of refocus a little bit. My question is, like, as of right now, you don't pencil a guy in. We're talking like how many positions, how many players are without question right now the starter. So we can have the conversations, and we will, about the Kyler Murray, the quarterback position, but I think we could almost both agree as of right now we need a competition, right? Like you might be at this point, I don't know, 90% Kyler Murray's your guy right now.
Yep.
But there's still, I'm talking without question 100%.
Well,
like Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1.
Yes, 100%. I think Darisaw, if he's healthy, he is your left tackle. There's no one else that can play that position better than he can. Honestly, I think the rest of the offensive line, they played together. Donovan Jackson has now played on that line, has some starting experience. Blake Brandel has been kind of that utility knife on the interior offensive line. He can play guard if he needs to. And it seems like all signs are pointing to him to be the starting center. It doesn't really seem like they've brought anybody in to compete with him.
Yeah, I mean, as far as new guys, who was the late round, the guy from Cincinnati maybe that they picked up, and it's just enough to be able to say that's the most concrete outside player that they brought in.
Gerhardt,
at the center position. So I think we could both agree, as far as the offensive line, confidently, the way things sit right now, 4 of the 5 spots have a guaranteed, as of right now, week 1 starter. Correct. Center, there's a little bit of competition, but even if there's like 95% chance Brandel's the guy at center, there's probably still going to be a starter competition for that spot, right?
I don't think so. I disagree there.
All right.
I think he's the starting center.
I
think 100% lock it in. I think that about the entire offensive line. If Darisaw is healthy, he's the wild card. If he's healthy, it's a no-brainer, right? And I think if you're Kevin O'Connell, I don't even know who the offensive line coach is.
It's a new guy this year, remember, because the old guy I don't think he got fired. I think his contract expired and they chose not to bring him back. So depending on your definition of firing.
He got let go.
But
I think if you're KOC, you want that consistency on offense, especially if you've got a lack of consistency at the quarterback position. At least you can have that firm foundation for whoever is going to be taking snaps and relying on those guys to protect, right? So I think on the offensive side of the ball, Justin Jefferson and the offensive line, I think those positions are locked in. I think everything else is maybe a little bit up in the air. Even maybe Jordan Addison, like that. Addison's probably like a 98% locked in
as like a wide receiver 2. Yeah.
All right. But
his competition being Jennings,
okay. Yep, and himself, if he does something stupid, and gets himself in trouble again, then maybe Jennings slides into that spot because he can't play because he's suspended like he was last year, right? On the defensive side of the ball, I think it's a little bit more up in the air. You've got 2 rookies that are projected to start on the interior defensive line, and Caleb Banks is a big wild card with his injury, and just can he come back? Can he start week 1? I don't know. I think we're all kind of eager to know about that. I think Dallas Turner is still a little bit of a question mark. I'd say he's maybe like 80 to 90%.
Okay.
Confirmed.
The Vikings did just sign somebody in the last few days from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I saw that. What was his name?
Isaiah Loudermilk. But I think Loudermilk is consistent. He's been with Pittsburgh his whole career, 5 years so far. But I think he's one of those guys that's like, I'm trying to think of like what we would think of as Dallas Turner the last few years. Not so much he's a first round pick, but more the like, oh, he's obviously number 2 because of who they have ahead of him.
Yeah.
But he's a solid guy. He's going to make the team. Like I think that's how he's been in Pittsburgh. So I don't know if he's coming to steal a starting job outside of maybe he just looks more crisp and clean, and maybe Flores meshes with one guy better than the other. Anyways, sorry, I totally interrupted.
No, that's good. I think Dallas Turner should start, but I think it'll depend on the confidence that they have in him. He's still young. He's still developing. But he showed a lot of flashes this last season, and I'm excited about him. Andrew Van Ginkel is a lock. Blake Cashman is a lock. Eric Wilson is a lock. I think your cornerbacks are locks.
Eric Wilson, very good. But he's also got a second-round pick that I believe Golday.
Yeah.
Does he not play that same position? He might be pushing that competition there. I'm not saying, like, oh, Wilson's obviously being replaced, but, like, hey, there's competition.
Yep, there's competition. I don't know. I still think your linebackers and cornerbacks are locked in. I don't really know that week 1 starters, I don't know that will change a whole lot. Harrison Smith is a big wild card because of just
he can't be a lock right now. He's not even on the roster technically.
Because of his status. If he's a post-June 1st cut, we might know a whole lot more by the time we record the next episode, because it's May 25th right now.
Yeah, Harrison Smith-wise, like, even if we enter the season and we're at, like, week 3, week 4, week 8, you know, like, we can get pretty deep into the season and still not fully put to bed the idea Harrison Smith could come back. I think Ben Lieber has been on record saying, like, there's a chance. I don't think he's ever predicted it as, like, this is going to happen, but he's like, there's a chance if, like, Harry stays away, and then if the Vikings get to the point where they're pushing for a playoff spot or they're looking decent in the second half of the season, maybe then Harrison Smith is like, all right, yeah, I can come back. I'm good to come back. That's definitely a possibility. So until we get to, I think there's a specific week, because I think it's come up with other players and on other teams where it's like, well, if they don't sign him by this week, then they can't sign him. I don't know the official rules or anything, but I think there is a later season week, like week 12 or something, that, like, if he doesn't come back by then he can't come back for the rest of the season because he's not been on a roster. I don't know. But yeah, we can go pretty deep until that talker is no longer valid.
Yeah, and it'll just be really interesting to see. Honestly, I don't think Harrison Smith would do that after all the time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears he's poured into this organization. I don't know that he would just sit and wait to see if the Vikings are contenders to come back.
The only way I could see that scenario happening is if Harry's, like, already had that honest and open conversation with the coaches. Like, hey, I could probably come back, but, like, I'm not sure yet. And I feel like the coaches, they obviously know what a trillion times more than we do, but I wouldn't be surprised if they've already had that conversation. Like, yeah, I'll either let you know by this date in the off season, or, like, I could come back if things are working well. I think he's been with the team long enough to be able to have those conversations. So even if we'll never know it, you know.
Well, and I know, like, going into last season, they talked about, I don't really know that this manifested itself at all, but they talked about putting him on a pitch count or a snap count, and, like, he's too much of a competitor.
That was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And then last season he came back and there was no talks of a pitch count. But then he had whatever happened late in training camp, health-wise, or something happened where he kind of, like, stepped away for a little bit.
But I think he's earned the right to do that too, and basically tell Brian Flores, Kevin O'Connell, like, hey, like, he's earned the Dennis Rodman package almost. right? Like, did you watch The Last Dance?
I don't know that reference.
The Last Dance.
Go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
We'll
I need a vacation. Not that Harrison Smith would do something stupid like that, but, like, I think he's earned the right to basically, like, get the hall pass and basically just tell them, like, I'm out for a little bit. I'll be back when I'm back.
And some people would see the Vikings drafting Jacoby Thomas. Is that his name?
Yep, the safety.
I think they got him in the 3rd round. Some people would see, like, oh, they drafted a guy in the 3rd round. That totally means Harry's not coming back. No, not at all. I mean, it's probably a future planning thing, and it might, you know, pay dividends already this season. But, like, I don't think drafting one guy, even if they had drafted the Eneman in the 1st round, I don't think that would have fully prevented Harry coming back. But either way, this whole segment is about established, no question, you are the starter right now. And we just can't say that about Harry right now because he's not even on the team.
Yeah. And I think last but not least, Josh Metellus is a starter. He's proven that he's very capable in lots of different positions. I think Brian Flores likes having that Swiss Army knife. Mm-hmm. If you need a third linebacker, he can go in there. If you need a third quarterback, you can go in there. If you need a second safety or third safety for that, like you just got options. You can move him around wherever you want. And who knows? Like if Harrison Smith doesn't come back for some reason, Metellus might be that number one safety.
Yeah.
Right. So
he had kind of a down year last year. He ended the year on IR. I'm pretty sure he had surgery. Like, I don't know if it was shoulder surgery or something, but it was late in the season. He went on IR, and then, like, the next day, they announced, like, hey, he just had successful surgery. So that's just enough of a wild card to be like, oh, there's something to think about there. Is he going to come back healthy? He's on the second year of a deal he signed right before the season last year. So, obviously, team wants him around, but, yeah.
Yeah.
What about special teams, Ev?
Yeah, so that's one position group that's not on the list here.
Yeah.
Not on Borman's projected starter list. Obviously, Will the Thrill is your kicker. There's no way around that. That's a 100% lock. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, now I'm blanking on his name.
Hecker.
Hecker's your punter.
Yep. What's his first name?
Johnny Hecker.
Johnny Hecker, yeah.
And he's older, though, and so I don't know that there's like a 100% guarantee that he's the guy, but he's the only punter on the roster.
No, they signed a undrafted guy, I think.
It's not. He's not on the official website yet.
Oh, really?
No. Hecker's the only punter listed currently on the roster. And Will Reichert is the only kicker listed on the roster.
Interesting.
Andrew DePaula. DePaula was the other guy. He's a lock
the long snapper,
at long snapper. So I think that's your specialist room. I think punter, kicker, long snapper are pretty much decided. My only concern is Johnny Hecker as a punter. You said they picked up an undrafted guy. That might just be a like, hey Johnny, you better punt really well in camp.
Well, it's just hedging your bets. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like the Saints, they signed Ryan Wright for like, what was it, like $14 million, like a 4-year, $14 million or $17 million, something like that. The Vikings didn't do that. They got Hecker for, I think, like 1 point something million. So he's not, I mean, even if that was complete dead money to lose out on that, like, if it makes your team better, if he loses the job, I don't think the team is complaining about eating $1 million.
1.26.
Yeah, which is not nothing. But yeah, if he loses out on the job, I really thought, I'm trying to look right now, I really thought they had signed a punter out of like Georgia. But this is taking, Brett Thorson, punter out of Georgia. He's an Australian. He's just senior out of Georgia. So he was one of their undrafted free agents, and I haven't seen anywhere that says they released him, because they've already released a couple of guys that were UDFAs. But you're right, he wasn't listed on the roster when I just looked. So I don't know.
Johnny Hecker is our age. He's 36.
Yeah.
I turn 36 later this year.
Yeah.
You turn 36 next year. Mm-hmm. But basically our age. Like maybe he graduated a year ahead of us in high school. But punter is a pretty durable position for the most part. Like, unless you're getting knocked over every time you drop back to punt the ball, you're probably going to be in the league a while. And if you're a good one, you'll make good money and be on a team for a while because they know they can rely on you.
But all I'll say is the fact that he wasn't a $15 million contract guy, and they signed somebody to compete. Those two facts are why in May I don't think you can pencil in or you can permanent marker in Hecker as the unquestioned day one starter. He probably will. I mean, he could win the job, and it might be easy for him. But as of now, you can't say without question he's the starter.
Yeah, but he's kind of like in the same category as like Jordan Addison or Eric Wilson.
And I think we agree and disagree on some things. So it'll be interesting when I go down the list of mine. Because I haven't given my position by position.
I've kind of dominated this side of the conversation. Let's hear your thoughts.
But I want to hear. So you said long snapper. I think we both agree. DePaula, they re-signed him. He's like 40 something, but they re-signed him. He's been one of the best. It's a hard position to quantify.
He's just so consistent. Like you never really. He's one of those. It's one of those positions where if you don't hear their name, then they're not the problem.
Exactly.
So
yeah, DePaula, I think he's one that I would buy his jersey. Like I'm kind of surprised I don't own his jersey yet. So yeah, I'm gonna say it unquestioned day one starter.
I think 2/3 of those guys are locked in. Yep. Will Reichard and Andrew DePaula are 100% locked in starters unless something catastrophic happens.
Catastrophic.
I knew you were gonna say that.
What about kick returner, punt returner? And it can be enough to say there is no starter.
I mean, that's where I think, like, if Jawan Jennings slides into the wide receiver 3 slot, whatever role, he could be doing some of that, and Ty Felton does some of that as well. And I'm going to look at the roster one more time just to see.
So I think Miles Price he was at least the kick returner. I don't know if he was also the bona fide punt returner. Co-pilot says Jawan Jennings has no returning stats.
Okay.
But I could see why you would think that, a fast guy at not a Justin Jefferson spot.
Didn't Jashawn Jones return some stuff last year too?
He may have, but Jashawn Jones is still in the point of his career where he's borderline not making the 53. Mm-hmm. He's a perennial practice squad guy, and I think this will be his like 3rd year. But if he's gonna make the team, it is gonna be through something like, all right, he's flashing in the return game. I do think Miles Price, didn't he break records for like the most return yards as a rookie or most return yards for the Vikings in a year? Like he had a really good year returning kicks. Again, I don't know about punts. He may have been the punt returner too, but he also had like 1 or 2 touchdowns called back on just horrific, terrible penalties of like holding and stuff for the Vikings. So Miles Price, he's close to being the unquestioned kick return starter, but I won't go as far as to say like kick return is him without question. There's going to be competition.
Yeah, he had 298 yards in kick returns.
Does it say punt returns? Does it separate that out? Or is it all just kind of lumped in together?
No, that was punt returns.
Okay.
He had 298 punt return yards. He had 1,479 kick return yards.
Yeah, dude was kind of crazy. And it would have been way more if not for a few untimely penalties.
25.9 yards on average per return, and then all-purpose yards. He had 1,777 all-purpose yards. So,
which is mostly punt and kick return yards. I don't know how many offensive yards he had.
Probably not a ton, but yeah, he definitely cemented it. I forgot about Miles Price actually. So I guess that all that makes me wonder, like, why Felton was even in Borman's initial projected roster in the first place. Like, was he just the only guy?
He had him at slot. There was no...
Yeah.
So I think at the time, April 26th, right after the draft, because remember the Vikings, they didn't draft any receivers.
True.
At the time, it was Ty Felton was, without question, wide receiver 3. Just because they hadn't done anything. And I'm pretty sure if we go back to that original tweet, one of the top replies to that says something like, what about the slot? That's the only position that really gives me a lot of concern. And Borman himself says, like, yeah, I think they'll be looking at the market. He says have to think they'll look at available wide receivers.
And they did. They got Jawan Jennings.
And importantly, I probably said it like 10 times now, this Sean Borman graphic isn't unquestioned day one starters. This is just depth chart as of now, and now being late April, right after the draft. So, I mean, I think it'd be totally different if Sean were to give there's no question Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1 and nobody's competing for that spot. Any other thoughts before I dive down position by position?
I want to know what you think.
I'll be a little bit more precise because I've definitely been adding my own thoughts as you've been going. But as far as offense, the offensive line, I think I said it too. So between left tackle, unquestioned, Christian Darrisaw. Left guard, unquestioned, Donovan Jackson. Center, for me, there's going to be a competition. I don't think it's enough. It's not solid enough for me to say in late May that Blake Brandel is 100% without question the day one starter. There's going to be a competition, and I think that's okay. I'm not mad if Brandel wins the job. I think when he came in, he really found in 2025 that he was always that sixth offensive lineman, the guy that can swing really anywhere. I think he kind of found that center was his position. So that's not a bad thing, but I still think there's going to be competition. Right guard, Will Fries right now, unquestioned right guard. No competition needed, again, barring injury. And then Brian O'Neill, right tackle, no question. So 4 of the 5 offensive line spots for me, I don't even need to pay attention to the tweets of how this competition's going because they're all good. Quarterback, there's going to be a competition, and people have their thoughts, and I don't want to dive down into it because we've already kind of done it a little bit and spent a few minutes on it. I think even if you think Kyler Murray is unquestioned the day one starter, it's not like they're not going to give J.J. McCarthy a chance. I think it's 40-40. And then the 10% chance of Carson Wentz coming in and winning the job. But yeah, it's not solidified enough for me to say Kyler Murray is without question the starter. Aaron Jones at running back, I think that's not guaranteed either. I think Jordan Mason has probably more of a chance to earn that starting RB1 job. I'm interested to see how the rookie does. What's his name?
John Owens?
No, he was one of the undrafted guys. This is his name starts with a D, I think.
DeMond
went to Wake
Claiborne?
Forest. Yeah. I think I'm interested to see how he does, but I don't think there's an unquestioned RB1 as of right now. And that's okay. That running back room is going to be okay with the guys that are in there, but yeah, I don't know if there's a clear cut number 1 right now. Tight end for me, TJ Hawkinson. He's unquestioned tight end number 1 right now. We can argue about whether or not you think he's good. Not you, Evan, but you, the listener. But yeah, for me, he's tattooed in at tight end number 1. Obviously, Justin Jefferson is wide receiver number 1, and I'd kind of disagree with you on Jordan Addison. I think he is unquestioned right now wide receiver 2, which is a starting position. Again, I think your reasoning is valid. He could get in trouble, could do something stupid, but as far as competing for his job on the football field, he is the starter.
Oh, yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And that's why I kind of said, it might not be someone else that beats him out for his job. It might be himself that beats himself out for a job,
And then I think the slot, for me, I think Jawan Jennings has... It's 99.9999 whatever percent to win that job. But just the fact that Ty Felton's been with the team for a year longer, and that's the only reason, because he hasn't gotten any opportunity other than that, there's going to be some competition. It might be very quickly evident that Jawan Jennings has gotten that job, but I think he's still he has to earn it just being the new guy. So for me, left tackle, left guard, right tackle, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, tight end 1. On offense, those are the only ones with unquestioned starters heading into the season. On defense, I think Dallas Turner, unquestioned. You tattoo him in. They're going to bring in depth, and they already have. We kind of talked about it, but Dallas Turner is the starter there. Caleb Banks, he's going to be a starter unless he's not healthy enough. And maybe it's just enough to say, there is a little bit of concern there, so maybe not quite unquestioned there. But no matter what, Jalen Redmond, he's a starter, unless undrafted guys beat him out, or El Presidente, Levi Drake Rodriguez beats him out. But I think Jalen Redmond, he's in there no matter what. Andrew Van Ginkel, starter, absolutely, unquestioned. I agree with you on the cornerbacks. Isaiah Rodgers and Byron Murphy, they're the starters. They're the money guys. They're going to be starting. Eric Wilson, I think he's going to have a little competition. He's probably going to win the job, but I think Golday, I think some other guys in that room, maybe even the fire has been lit under Ivan Pace's tush. But I think there's enough opportunity for competition that it's not fully Eric Wilson's job in my book. Blake Cashman, though, he is the unquestioned other inside linebacker starter. And then I don't think there is an unquestioned safety starter. I think Josh Metellus, he should be, but the injury concern from last year is enough for me to say, like, all right, they're going to have to at least look elsewhere, or, you know, at other guys on the roster. So there could be a competition there. And then special teams, Will Reichard, he might be the best player pound for pound on the team. It's either him or Justin Jefferson. Punter, there's definitely going to be a competition. Long snapper, it's DePaula. He is the unquestioned starter. And then kick return, punt return. That's the best way for athletic guys to try and earn a roster spot, that they're going to spend time every day in training camp giving guys look at kick returns and punt returns. So for that reason alone, it's enough to say that Miles Price isn't unquestioned the starter at that position right now. But yeah, maybe that was boring, maybe not interesting. I don't know. I feel like everything I said makes a lot of sense, but some people could disagree with me. I think on some level, and that's okay, you might disagree with me on a couple of the positions.
Yeah, and I mean, it's okay to disagree. At this point, we're just speculating, and we're just trying to figure out, like, how we see things right now, and it's not our job at the end of the day to figure that out. It's the coaches and the GM, and it'll be exciting to see that roster come together. And I think what's interesting about the Vikings roster right now is it's not this like, oh my gosh, we have the most amazing roster ever, we're gonna win the whole thing. They
signed all these $100 million free agents, and just everything's gonna be great.
It's this just kind of unassuming, like, that's a good group of guys right there, and I don't know, we could do something with it, you know. So I don't know. I think at this point I'm always optimistic, because you just don't know, right? You don't know until you know. You don't know until 11 guys put their fingers in the dirt and go up against another team to try to win a game. And we won't know that until September. So.
All right, Ev, we have one more segment listed down, and I know we're getting a little long in the tooth, but I think we can do this segment justice with just a few minutes. We
can go speed round here.
Yeah.
So, friend of the show, Dustin Baker, wrote an article for Vikings Territory, and the title of his article is 4 Vikings players that are on the verge of a breakout. So we can probably approach this like we typically do. Maybe we can list the 4 players, and we'll list them in the order that Dustin has, because he lists them in order of like least likely to break out to most likely to break out. And then we can maybe just like re-rank the players based on our thoughts, our opinions. So we'll go in the order that Dustin has them listed here. Least likely to break out, Bo Richter at number 4, outside linebacker.
Now that is an interesting way to phrase it, because I think Dustin is saying all 4 of these guys are it's in the title, on the verge of breaking out. But like,
yes.
This is
who's closer to the epicenter of a breakout.
Yeah. So if they're on the list, you're in Dustin's eyes, you could be about to break out. So to say least likely is like a little misleading, because he's not saying Bo Richter won't break out at all. He's saying of the 4, he's just bottom of the list.
Yep. Then there's JJ McCarthy.
Interesting.
Then Jay Ward, who we really haven't talked about at all today, and he did not show up on Sean Borman's list of projected 53-man starters. And then Dallas Turner at number 1. Thoughts? Would you rearrange that list? Would you take anybody off and add anybody new? What do you think?
I'm going to steer clear of taking off and adding new. Because we could say, hey, Kyler Murray could just explode and resurrect his career and
be like the best quarterback in Vikings history.
Could be.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
And if that happened, I wouldn't be mad. I would just, I'd always feel a little sad for JJ. But like, hey, if my team's winning, I'm not mad about it. So adding people new, I'm just going to look at this list. I think it's Dallas Turner seems like he has the most opportunity as things sit right now to break out. Now, obviously, if J.J. McCarthy were to... If this article was written the week or the day after 53-man rosters are announced and it's totally announced that J.J. McCarthy won the QB1 job, then he'd probably be listed at number one. Like, he's got the best opportunity. But right now, the way things sit, I think Dallas Turner... he might be the one that with the most opportunity to break out and one that most Vikings fans are waiting for him to break out. I don't think there's been this huge uproar of pissed off Vikings fans. Some of them are about the Grenard trade. Like, some people are definitely upset about that, but it's not been like the talk of Vikings fans since the draft. And I think just the idea of Dallas Turner just waiting in the wings. He finished off 2025 strong. We're really going to give this kid a chance. They basically traded an entire draft to be able to get him. Now they're just finally getting the chance to be a starter. And, man, he could do some stuff this season. So I think he's well-suited to be number one on this list of potential breakouts. What do you think about Dallas Turner?
I agree with you. I think he is, and I agree with Dustin too. I think he's the most likely to break out. I think moving on from Grenard, I wasn't mad about moving on from Grenard. I was mad about what they got.
Sure, yeah.
For moving on from Grenard.
2/3 and some.
It just wasn't enough, in my opinion, and I felt like he had more value that the Vikings could have milked in terms of getting something from another team. But it makes sense to move on from Grenard. He was expensive. He's a really good player. But I think Dallas Turner fills that void really well. And I think doing that, by moving on from Jonathan Grenard, Brian Flores, Kevin O'Connell, the rest of the organization, they showed Dallas Turner, we believe in you. We think you're the next man up. Let's go. And hopefully the young guy takes that to heart and plays hard, plays well, keeps himself healthy, keeps himself out of trouble, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with that. I would like to disagree with one that Dustin has on this list.
Lay it on me.
I disagree with Jay Ward, and I'll tell you why. Everything that Dustin writes here is predicated on Harrison Smith not being on the roster. And I think if Harrison Smith is on the roster, and again, we've already talked about kind of that wrinkle and how that wrinkle could develop. Could he be on the roster week 1? Yes. Could he be on the roster later in the season? Yes. Is there a cutoff? Yes. We just don't know at this point. And I think in the next couple of weeks, we'll know a little bit more because decisions will have to be made both by the team and by the player. I think we're going to know more maybe by like a month from now. Is Harrison Smith going to play or not? I think we should know that in a month. So I disagree with Dustin a little bit here, and maybe I don't know. Maybe he's onto something a little bit. But if you look at the safety room right now for the Vikings, you have Khalif Halassi, Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus, who we've already talked about. You have rookie Jacob Thomas, who I think was a UDFA. Then you have Jacoby Thomas. You have Tavier Thomas. We got 3 Thomases in the safety room there. And you got Jay Ward. Tavier Thomas was a free agent pickup, right?
He was on the team last year. He had a couple of those untimely special teams penalties.
That's right.
That negated at least one touchdown from Miles Price.
But I guess he's got some experience, and maybe he learned from some of those mistakes. I don't know. Theo Jackson is another one that has had some experience. I'm not saying Jay Ward is like completely buried in this list and isn't at the top of this list. He might be at the top of the list. If it goes Harrison Smith, Joshua Metellus, it might be Jay Ward
Mm-hmm.
after that. But there's depth in that safety room that I like, and I think there are some young guys that could develop into some nice players there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't know that Jay Ward is the second most likely player to break out this season. And again, it's a lot of what Dustin wrote was predicated on Harrison Smith coming or not coming back.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how that's still very much a possibility. And so if that is a possibility, well, then Jay Ward is right back where he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he won't have the opportunity to break out because it'll be Harrison Smith and Joshua Metellus, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I would swap in order of most to least. I'd swap J.J. McCarthy with Jay Ward. I think J.J. McCarthy, he has the ability. We could be sitting here a year from now talking about a stat line of McCarthy where he got 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 minutes playing, whatever. Or 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns, Pro Bowl. Like, he could have anything from in between any of those scenarios, and we could totally believe it. Maybe it'd be a little far-fetched to say 4,500 yards and stuff like that, but he could totally break out, or he could lose the job in camp and never see the field at all. But for that volatility reason, I think that's enough to put him at number 2, like on the verge, potential, like this could be exciting. And then Bo Richter, this could have just been enough for Dustin to want to add another player to this list. I think Bo Richter, he could not make the team. Mm-hmm. Or he could make the team and start several games and actually break out and do something good. But I think Bo Richter has already been a guy that's been, in his 3 or 4 years so far, released and re-signed by the team a few times. He's held several different numbers in his career, jersey numbers as a Viking. I think if Grenard were still a Viking, Bo Richter might definitely be cut because, you know, they have so many guys at that position. But again, he could be a guy that's like, he could start a few games due to injury and he could play well, and we just never know. But I think if he, this could be his last year with the Vikings if he even makes the team.
Yeah, and didn't he recover at least one fumble last year?
Yeah, I think he had like a game-sealing fumble recovery at one point, but yeah, there's something to that. I forgot about that.
I'm trying to.
He's
look
also
it up right
in
now.
the background of that 9 meme that keeps going around. There's 2 guys' faces that you can see, and Bo Richter is the other guy other than JJ. So
he had a fumble recovery in 24, but not
okay.
last year. And he had 1 pass defended last year. And he had a handful of tackles between last year and this year. So not bad, but yeah. Could be a fringe player that may not make the roster, like you said, especially with some other talented faces in the mix. So it'll be really interesting to see. And again, the tough part is at this point we speculate, right? We we look ahead, we look at the roster, we look at everything, and we just try to guess what's going to happen, and we're just throwing darts at the wall and seeing what sticks.
it always works out for us.
But eventually we'll see them play, and then we'll be able to react, right? We'll be able, instead of speculate, we'll speculate about what's going to happen, and then we'll be able to react in post, like,
yeah, I knew it all along.
Yeah. Or, man, we were so wrong. Well, you weren't wrong about this beer.
Yeah.
I think this beer was really good, and I would seek this out again. I like a good cream ale. It's been a while since I've had a cream ale. I mentioned the single speed tricycle cream ale that I really like. This reminds me a lot of that. But the pistachio vibes they're there.
It's more of a nutty vibe than specifically pistachios.
And it's not, I don't know, how do I say that? It's not like in your face. It's not a nut beer. It's not like the nut brown ale that we made a little over a year ago now.
Yeah, we need to make another beer, by the way.
Yeah, we do. But it's good. It's a good beer. It has some nutty vibes to it. but they're not overwhelming, and it's easy drinking. It goes down nice and smooth.
I will say it's probably one of the like lightest tasting 6.5% beers I've ever tried. Because I did forget, like, man, this is kind of 6.5. Like, it's not gonna wreck you, but it's up there as far as when you're talking about normal beer ABVs. 6.5 is kind of high. But yeah, flavor is really good. I like it a lot. Colors, basically crystal clear. And yeah, I don't know if I said this on air or not before we cracked them open. I was like, I hope it's not like thick. And it's not thick at all. It's nice and light and refreshing.
It's just a good clean beer with a good kind of nut profile and a cream ale foundation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it. It's good beer.
I will have it again.
For sure. You got to tell people where they can check us out if they've made it this far in the episode and they want to learn more about us.
Yeah, first off, like and subscribe, or whatever version of that, wherever you're listening. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever else. But other than that, if you want to reach out to us, we're heavily involved on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on all the socials. Just search the Skol Hop and you will find us. And if you want to email us and maybe get a sticker. I think we still have some.
We do.
Send us an email at it's theskolhop@gmail.com. And if you give us an address, we'll send a sticker your way. So we are out there. We are easily findable. And please interact, because we'll interact back.
Yeah. Well, I thought this was a good beer. I enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
We just keep doing it. Like, it could be the best episode yet.
Maybe. Skol.
Skol.